Hello and welcome to lesson 2. So in this lesson, it's going to be a short video going over documentation, going over what to accept from students and what not to accept. So starting off, so the TSI, this is the college readiness exam. We don't have to process the scores, but we do need to make sure that that everything that they submit is able to be accepted by UTRGV. So what to accept, sorry. Printable PDFs from the Accuplacer website. So students do have access to that portal from their high school. They can go ahead and download the scores. It'll say TSI, it'll say Accuplacer on top and have all of their information. So as long as they can submit one of those printable PDFs, they can go ahead and submit it to you. And a little note before I move forward. All of this is assuming that they did not submit it directly to admissions, because when students first apply, they do get a link to admissions@utrgv.edu and application at utrgv.edu. They are able to send all of their documents here, but some students don't wish to because they feel like their paperwork may be lost, so they'd rather send it directly to us. So all of these are with the assumption that they're sending them directly to you. Sorry about not mentioning that earlier. Printable PDFs from the Accuplacer website. One-on-one meeting searches. Now, the reason why I'd rather do the searches on a one-on-one basis is only because it is very time-consuming to do these, because there is a lot that is asked from the student. So instead of going back and forth, I would rather they book me for a 30-minute appointment. That way we can talk about us logging into our Accuplacer portal. Really, we really don't go through the Accuplacer portal unless we're doing an email campaign. But even at that, it is very time consuming. So I would rather do it on a one-on-one scheduled meeting so that we have adequate time to look for those scores. Physical copies. So after they take the exam, whether it be at their high school or at the UTRGV testing center, they can print them out a transcript of their scores. They can go ahead and submit those to us in person. Transcript copies. Sometimes on high school transcripts, it'll show that they're TSI ready, or for example, on their STC transcript, at the end, it'll show they are TSI complete and how it was that they were complete, whether it be by the college algebra course or by the math portion of the exam, for example. And a phone photo. So with TSIs, as long as all the information is displayed correctly, they are able to take a picture on their phone and either email it to us or text it to us, to our cell phones. We do accept them only because you can't really alter an official document like the TSI. So we really do accept those scores. Sometimes students don't know how to submit it, or they may not have transportation to get to the school. If they can submit a clear photo, we can accept that. What not to accept? Screenshots. So some students go to their phone and log into Accuplacer and take a screenshot of just the scores. We cannot take that, and this would fall under crop photos as well. The reason why we don't accept them is because it's very easy for a student to leave out their name, and sometimes we may not even know if it's theirs. So we want to make sure that it is their test that they're taking, or that it's not expired, since TSIs do expire after 5 years. And unofficial documents. So if it's on an unofficial document, which we'll touch on in a bit, we cannot submit it for review, meaning that we can see that they're college ready, but until we receive an official document, the academic advising team will not clear the TSI hold. It does need to be on an official transcript. Meningitis vaccine. This is a requirement for all students under the age of 22. So what to expect? Emailed or texted photos. With these, as long as they can take a picture of their doctor's note or their pharmacy note, and it has a clear indication of their first and last name, their date of birth, where they got it, the stamp or signature from the doctor or pharmacist, and the type of meningitis vaccine that they got, we will go ahead and accept them. Also, if they bring in a physical copy from the doctor or pharmacist, we can go ahead and make a copy of it in the office if they need a copy, or we can accept whatever they're bringing in. As long as they have all the information, we can go ahead and accept it. What not to accept? Expired documents, meaning that if they got it in 2015, it has been over 5 years, so it is now expired. They would have to go and get the booster shot. Missing information, again, goes to prop paperwork or photos. So if they send everything there, but they don't have their name on it or their date of birth, we cannot accept it because we don't want them to forge any information for another student. Official transcripts. So official transcripts will only be accepted if they are sent directly from the high school or university. Now, this one is important to note that we will not receive official transcripts. If a student pays money to go through a transcript portal, and they send it to our email, all we can do is apologize. We have to make sure that we explain to them the correct steps, because if an official transcript that they paid for goes to us, we cannot do anything with it. If we send it to admissions, they will say that it has now been unofficial because it went to us first. An official transcript is the only document that must be sent from either a transcript service or high school or university directly to UTRGV. And that would be going through the admissions email. The reason why I'm including this one is because you will see a lot of students that try to submit an official transcript. Another way they can submit them is by the transcript service or school mailing it physically to students, and they will be accepted as official as long as the envelope is closed. If a student breaks the seal on the envelope, even if it's right as they're walking into the building, if it's a broken seal when they get to the front desk, it is then considered unofficial. It will not be accepted by any department. It does have to stay closed all the way until the imaging team scans it in. Official transcripts. Official transcripts are considered placeholders while we wait on official transcripts. I'm sorry, unofficial transcripts. So what this means is that we can accept an unofficial transcript for admissions, but they will not be able to register for any classes until we receive their official transcript. Now, I know it's a lot of back and forth in saying unofficial, unofficial. Basically, official is what removes the hold. Unofficial is a placeholder. Just remember that. Now, official transcripts that are open are considered unofficial. Back to what I was saying in the last slide, if a official transcript that's mailed to them gets opened and they submit it that way, we can take it in, but it will be considered an unofficial. We cannot take it in as an official transcript. No matter how much the student is upset, we have to let them know the rules. And unofficial transcripts can only be submitted physically. The reason for this is because when a student prints out a transcript at their school, high school or university, it will have a URL link at the bottom. This means that it was printed from the official registrar's office. If they download, for example, their degree works or a printable version from their, let's just say JAGNet for SUC students, and they submit that, what would happen then is it's not gonna make that URL at the bottom. And at that point, we cannot accept it because that means that it could have been tampered with, the file itself. And we don't want students to be making changes on their transcript for admission. So for unofficial copies, we can only accept them physically in your hand. That way you can review it and make sure that it is an official paper. And lastly, ACT and SAT. So what to expect? We can only accept portal printable PDFs. Printable PDFs from the portal. Sorry, that was worded really weirdly. But they have to log in to their testing portal and download the copy. We can also accept it on transcripts, only if it's their official final high school transcript. If it's on there, we can go ahead and accept it. And official test score transcript. So if they were to take it, this is in very rare cases, since it does take a while to get graded, but in some cases, students are able to pick up a transcript from their school that has just the testing information. If they can submit that, that would also be accepted. And of course, what not to accept would be screenshots or printed website photos. So if they print the actual website and give it to you, we cannot accept that because it is just the website that shows, like, for example, the URL on top and everything. We need to make sure it's an actual printable PDF file, and no screenshots can be taken. So even if it has their name, but if it's a screenshot, that cannot be accepted either. And this concludes the presentation. So go ahead and work on the assessment down below. And then once you feel comfortable, we can go ahead and move on to lesson number 3. Thank you.